Deep inside an ancient Russian forest, there is a lake people fear more than death itself. Every 4 years, during one cursed week, beautiful women rise from the water and humans start disappearing. Couples vanish, campers never return, and nobody knows what truly lives inside that lake. The movie begins near a mysterious lake hidden deep in the forest. Several water witches rise from the water along with 3 evil mermaids. The mermaids use dark magic to command the witches. Soon after, a young couple enters the forest. While they're spending time together near a tree, suddenly thick smoke spreads everywhere. The girl disappears without a trace. Her boyfriend desperately searches for her inside the smoke. Then he sees another beautiful girl standing nearby. She hypnotizes him and slowly leads him toward the lake. Completely under her control, the young man enters the water. More water witches appear and surround him. They drain the energy from his body and drown him inside the lake. At the same time, the missing girlfriend is surrounded by witches too. They call her selfish and fake, just like her boyfriend. 2 days later, a professor arrives near the forest with several students for a research trip. Before entering the forest, they stop at a small store. The store owner tells them to stay away from the mysterious lake. She says evil mermaids and water witches live there. According to the legend, every 4 years a special week begins, and during that time, humans are dragged into the lake for a dark ritual. Sadly, that cursed week has already started, but the professor refuses to believe any of it. Ignoring the warning, the group enters the forest and sets up camp. Cameras are placed everywhere to record the research. But during the night, several students see terrifying nightmares. The next morning, they discover something disturbing. Every single camera has been destroyed. The next morning, a student named Ron offers to drive into the city and buy a new camera. Before leaving, his ex-girlfriend Tina asks to come with him, but Ron rejects him immediately. Tina becomes furious after being rejected. Hidden nearby, a water witch named Nini secretly watches everything. That night, Ron finally returns from the city, but while driving through the forest, a wild boar jumps onto the road. Ron quickly turns the wheel to avoid it. Instead, he accidentally hits a girl standing in the forest. That girl is Nini. Ron rushes out of the car to help her. Nini wakes up, but her leg appears twisted. 2 other students arrive and help carry her back to camp. But the moment everyone leaves, Nini quietly fixes her own broken leg. Later, the professor treats her injury and asks who she is. Without answering a single question, Nini walks away. She returns to the lake where the 3 evil mermaids appear again. They ask her why she still has not brought enough human energy to the lake. The ritual is approaching, and they need more victims. The next day, Ron meets Nini again in the forest. He is genuinely happy to see her, but Nini secretly creates hypnotic smoke around him. Slowly, Ron falls under her control, but when he touches a glowing mark on her back, the hypnosis suddenly breaks. Confused, Ron asks about the strange glowing symbol. Nini lies and says it is only a tattoo. Before she can hypnotize him again, gunshots echo through the forest. Hunters have killed a wild animal nearby. Ron immediately confronts them. He says every living creature deserves the right to live. Nini silently watches his kindness. After the hunters leave, Ron and Nini spend more time together. Ron talks about nature, animals, and how important life is. Nini slowly realizes he is not a bad person. For the first time in years, she starts feeling happiness again. Back at the lake, the witches talk about something tragic. None of them remember who they were before becoming witches. They only remember hatred and the desire for revenge. That night, the witches begin hunting again. One student falls under hypnosis and walks toward the lake. Nearby, Ron hears strange noises and goes to investigate. Several witches surround him and begin hypnotizing him too. When Nini hears about this, she rushes to save him. She carries a special magical stone from the lake. Nini tells the witches to leave Ron alone because he belongs to her. Then she slaps Ron to break the hypnosis. She gives Ron the magical stone and tells him to keep it close at all times. But before she can explain more, the three evil mermaids appear behind her. Using dark magic, they lift Nini into the air. They demand to know why Ron is still alive. Nini admits Ron is not evil. The mermaids become enraged. They remind Nini that all humans are cruel and deserve punishment. Then they warn her to obey them or lose all her memories forever. Hidden nearby, Ron secretly hears everything. Realizing Nini is actually a water witch, he runs away in fear. Desperate, Nini chases after him and begs him to listen. Emotionally, finally, she tells him the truth. She explains that water witches are the souls of girls who drowned themselves in sadness. Their real bodies still remain at the bottom of the lake. The lake's magic creates temporary witch bodies for them. Every 4 years, the mermaids force them to hunt humans. And tomorrow night will be the final and most dangerous night of the ritual. Nini tells Ron to leave the forest before it is too late. Ron realizes she is trying to protect him because she loves him. Then he understands something important. The witches themselves do not need human energy. The mermaids are only using them as tools. Ron believes the witches can break free if they remember their human lives again. Calmly, he tells Nini about a drowned village hidden beneath the lake. Maybe her past can be found there. Later that night, the mermaids force Nini to prove her loyalty. She is forced to kill a student and drain his energy into the lake. Even after doing it, Nini looks completely broken inside. The next morning, Ron secretly warns his friend about the witches. He gives him one of the magical stones for protection. Meanwhile, Nini dives deep beneath the lake toward the drowned village. Inside an old house, she discovers a necklace she once wore as a human. The moment she touches it, all her memories return. Nini remembers she was once a happy girl, deeply in love. But the man she loved betrayed her for another woman. Broken by heartbreak, she came to the lake. There, the mermaids manipulated her into drowning herself. Now, after remembering her past, Nini's desire to live returns. She finally stands against the mermaids. Nini tells them they can no longer control her. The mermaids become extremely angry. Since this is the final night of the ritual, they create a dangerous plan. Evil witches are sent to Ron disguised as Nini. Ron believes the fake Nini is real and takes her into his tent. Meanwhile, the real Nini is brought there by the mermaids. She sees Ron under hypnosis while another witch seduces him. Ron tells Nini to leave because he is under the spell. Nini breaks down in tears. Then, the fake witch transforms into Tina and kisses Ron. Tragically, Nini completely misunderstands the situation. Devastated, Nini walks away crying toward the lake. But suddenly, several hunters surround her. They accuse her of making people disappear. One of the hunters shoots her. Filled with pain and heartbreak, Nini loses control completely. She transforms into her terrifying witch form. Then she brutally kills the hunters one by one. At the same time, Ron's friend enters the tent to save him. Ron's eyes have turned completely white from hypnosis. The fake witch orders Ron to kill his friend, but the magical stone breaks the hypnosis instantly. Ron finally discovers the truth. Shockingly, Tina also became a witch after falling into the mermaid's trap. She admits she manipulated Nini out of jealousy and revenge. Meanwhile, the mermaids continue poisoning Nini's mind. Broken emotionally, Nini agrees to destroy her witch form forever. The mermaids begin a ritual and sink her deep into the lake. Since this is the final night, hypnotic smoke spreads across the entire forest. Men and women lose control of themselves and start walking toward the lake. The mermaids begin the final stage of their ritual. At that moment, Ron arrives carrying the magical stone. He demands to know where Nini is. The mermaids proudly tell him that Nini believed he betrayed her. They also reveal that her witch body has already melted away. Ron immediately dives deep into the lake to save her. Deep beneath the lake, Ron reaches the bottom. But Nini's witch body is already gone. Ron cries out for her. Then Nini's trapped soul appears before him. Emotional, Ron confesses that he truly loves her. He explains that everything she saw was just the mermaid's manipulation. Hearing the truth removes all of Nini's pain. For the first time, she experiences real love. That powerful feeling sends her soul back into her original human body. Calm, sunrise slowly begins to appear above the lake. Tragically, Nini returns to life, but Ron dies while saving her. Carrying Ron's body, Nini returns to the surface. Around her, the final ritual is still continuing. This time, Nini tells all the witches the truth. The mermaids erased their memories only to control them, but love and human memories can break that control forever. Slowly, the witches begin remembering their past lives. Realizing, Nini also notices that the lake is still filled with energy before sunrise. She absorbs that energy with her hands. Then she places it onto Ron's face. Suddenly, Ron comes back to life. The mermaids realize their ritual has failed. Dark, without enough energy, they will suffer beneath the lake for the next 4 years. Tense, as sunlight spreads across the forest. Shockingly, all the witches and mermaids are dragged back into the depths of the lake. Relieved, because the ritual remained incomplete, everyone else survives. Calm, horrified by everything they witnessed, the survivors quickly leave the cursed forest forever. And that is where this dark fantasy story comes to an end.